The storm howled like it wanted to tear the walls down. I found her outside, my daughter, collapsed on the front steps. Rain plastered her hair to her fevered face, lips trembling, body weak. She clung to me with the last of her strength. Her voice was nothing more than a ghost between breaths. Mom told me to leave. Then her eyes rolled back, and she went still. I carried her inside, laid her on the couch, wrapped her in every blanket I could find. My hands shook, but not from fear of losing her. No, the trembling came from something deeper, something I had felt gnawing at me for months. The storm raged. My mind matched its rhythm. Hours later, the front door opened. She walked in, my wife, drenched but calm, as if the storm belonged to someone else. Her first words sliced through the silence. "Where is she?" I turned. My voice was a blade, sharp and deliberate. "She's gone." The flicker on her face told me more than any confession could. Betrayal rarely announces itself. It drips. A look too long, a phone silenced too quickly, a half-smile exchanged with shadows. I had watched her for months, sensing something wrong. Not just distance, something uglier. She treated our daughter like clutter in a room she no longer wanted to enter. The child felt it before I did. Children always do. And then that night, my suspicion found flesh. Fevered flesh. A child thrown into the rain like a secret to be washed away. I wanted to rage, to scream. But rage is sloppy. Screaming is for the weak. Instead, I let silence hold me steady. I watched my wife peel off her wet coat, hang it neatly. Her movements rehearsed. No guilt in her posture, only calculation. She believed I would fold, that I would doubt what I'd seen, doubt what I'd heard. But my daughter's faint whisper still echoed, slicing through me. Mom told me to leave. The days that followed felt like watching a play. She moved through the house as though nothing had happened, cooking, smiling faintly, kissing my cheek goodnight. But I was no longer her husband. I was her audience. Quietly, I began assembling the truth. Phone records first. Calls at odd hours, always erased, but never thoroughly. I retrieved them. A number appeared again and again. Emails next. Deleted drafts recovered. The kind of messages you write but don't send. Promises, rendezvous, plans for a life that excluded me and our daughter. And then the cruelest detail. An insurance form buried among bills naming her new beneficiary. Not me, not our child. Him. I did not rage. I did not confront. Instead, I watched her across the dinner table, chewing slowly, smiling politely. My silence unnerved her more than accusations would. She began to falter, dropped glasses, nervous laughter, unfinished excuses. Each slip was confirmation. I wanted her to feel it, the ground thinning beneath her feet. The DNA test arrived in a plain envelope. I had sent it off quietly, hair strands, toothbrush bristles, the kind of evidence that whispers when it's taken. I opened it alone. The truth was final. Our daughter was mine. And yet my wife had tried to erase her, not because of blood, but because the child chained her to a life she was already abandoning. That night, I set the envelope on the table. No words, no ceremony. She saw it. "What is that?" she whispered. I didn't answer. I just leaned back, watching her unravel. Her fingers trembled as she tore the paper open. When her eyes reached the conclusion, I saw her world collapse inward. She had wagered everything on a lie, that the child wasn't mine, that I would discard her too. But the report screamed otherwise. She looked at me then, wide-eyed, broken. I stayed still, cold, silent. Her tears came, desperate and unconvincing. She reached for me. I didn't move. "You don't understand," she choked. I understood perfectly. I slid the second document across the table, her own insurance form. highlighted, circled. Her hands froze. Her mask shattered. The silence between us thickened until it became unbearable. I didn't shout. I didn't accuse. I simply rose, walked to the door, and opened it wide. Rain poured outside, just like the night she had cast out our daughter. "Leave," I said quietly. The word was final. She hesitated, searching for leverage, for mercy. Finding none, she stepped into the storm. The house was quiet again. Too quiet, almost hollow. But my daughter's breathing, steady now, calm in her sleep, anchored me. Betrayal is a blade. It cuts deep, but it also cauterizes. Once the wound seals, you feel nothing. I sat alone in the dark, letting the storm pass outside. My chest felt empty, but in that emptiness there was clarity. I had lost a wife, but I had kept something more valuable, a truth no storm could wash away. The final thought that slid through me was cold, sharp, undeniable. She left my daughter in the rain. Now I've left her there too.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.